Having through that song prayed that the Word and Spirit may have its effect in our lives, with that we're going to turn now to the first book of the New Testament, to the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 12. We have not been in the Gospels and focused on directly any ministry of Christ for some time, as Pastor Michael's been taking us through the Heidelberg, and I've been taking us through various passages relating to our marriage series in the morning. So it's good to be back in the Gospels, and we're going to read from Matthew chapter 12, beginning at verse 9, and we'll read through verse 21 as we focus on the nature of our Lord's ministry, a ministry of grace, a ministry of mercy, a ministry of compassion and empathy. Maybe kids go, what's empathy? Empathy is where you kind of get outside of yourself and you identify with the sufferings and difficulties of others. And that doesn't always come easy for us. And we need to be reminded of that through the example of our Lord. So, Matthew chapter 12, let's begin reading at verse 9. He, that is Jesus, went on from there and entered their synagogue. That is the synagogue of the religious leaders, the Pharisees. And a man was there with a withered hand. And they asked him, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? So that they might accuse him. And he said to them, which one of you has a sheep, if it falls into a pit on the Sabbath, will not take hold of it and lift it out? Well, how much more value is a man than a sheep? So it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. Then he said to the man, stretch out your hand. And the man stretched it out and was restored, healthy like the other. But the Pharisees went out and conspired against him how to destroy him. Jesus, aware of this, withdrew from there, and many followed him, and he healed them all and ordered them not to make him known. This was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. Behold, my servant whom I have chosen, my beloved with whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he will proclaim justice to the Gentiles. He will not quarrel or cry aloud, nor will anyone hear his voice in the streets. And especially verses 20 and 21. A bruised reed he will not break, a smoldering wick he will not quench, until he brings justice to victory, and in his name the Gentiles will hope. This is a passage that is found in Matthew. And all three, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, tell us that Jesus withdrew from the Pharisees, but it's only Matthew who cites this beautiful passage that Matthew relates to Jesus as the Messiah, from Isaiah chapter 42. So we're going to consider especially this fulfillment of Isaiah 42 tonight. Before we do that, however, I want you to keep your finger there in Matthew chapter 12, and I'd like you to turn to one other passage. But keep your finger there in Matthew 12, because we're going to return there, and we're going to look at the context of that passage as well.